Hi, everyone. I don't know if you saw the announcement or not on the website, but I have actually relaunched the way that you can help support the podcast. A couple of years ago, I made the decision to remove all of the ads from the podcast so you weren't interrupted by that in the middle of the show, and we could just concentrate on the content itself. In the process of doing that, I have created a structure where if you do choose to support the podcast, you're going to get some amazing bonuses. And you're going to be in a circumstance where you're allowing the podcast to continue to grow, because I spend between 2 and 4 hours every single week just making sure that you get this amazing content. If you choose to be a supporter, regardless of the level that you support at, you are now going to get access to a brand new podcast supporters only podcast every single month. You're going to get about 45 minutes from me where I'm answering your questions. I'm going to be talking about the things that I've done this week or this month with my clients. So not only are you going to get a chance to get some of the theory stuff and some of the tapping stuff that we get in the regular podcast, but you're going to start to understand why I'm making the choices that I'm making and what it looks like in real practice. In addition to that, I have a whole bunch of great interviews set up for the fall that'll show up on the podcast, but the folks who are supporters of the podcast will get some podcast extra content where I will continue the conversation with our guests. Sometimes they have a lot to share outside of the topic area, and this is an opportunity for you to continue to learn more. The first bonus supporter podcast goes out on September 24th, so you want to make sure you take advantage of that. All you need to do is go to tappingqa.com/support. Also, if you've subscribed to the podcast yet, just go to tappingpodcast.com and you will get a chance to see how you can subscribe to the podcast on Android devices, on Apple devices, Spotify, that smart speaker in your home, the Alexa. All of the instructions are there, how you can continue to consume this free of charge and make sure you don't miss a future episode. This is Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 329, originally aired September 19th, 2018. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Today, we're going to spend some time having a conversation about oh boy, the emotion that I hate feeling the most, jealousy. Before we jump into that, as a reminder, if you didn't check out last week's show, episode 328, we did a really deep dive on how you build beliefs and how you see the world and why that makes it hard for us to heal. So if you have one of those issues where you just can't quite seem to get rid of this limiting belief or this pattern that's happening over and over again, episode 328 is going to be really helpful so you can unpack that and be in a place where you are going to be successful. A number of weeks ago, I was at a conference where I was doing some professional development stuff. It's a conference that I go to most years, and it's a conference I really enjoy. Every single time I go to it, I come home with this massive list of to-dos and inspirations. And even yesterday, I was sitting at my desk and one of the people I met at the conference went shooting through my head. And so I sent her a quick email and we did a little back and forth. And it was good to reconnect with this person who I never would have known if it wasn't for this conference. So I love going to this conference. And in the middle of day 2, I was sitting in a workshop. And as I was sitting in the workshop, I was consumed. I mean, when I say consumed, I was at a level in which it was difficult for me to process and listen to what was going on because of the amount of jealousy that I was feeling for the person who was on stage. Now, the conference I was at, of the 2,500 people who were at that conference, when it comes to experience and expertise, just because it's something that I've been doing for a really long time, I was probably in the top 200 people at this event. And that's not like that I'm this greatest thing ever, but it's a statement of fact. Because of experience and expertise, it's something that I work on every single day. It was a place where I was really competent. And I've never been given an opportunity to present at this particular event. And that's no shouts to the event. I manage events, and in talking to the organizers for the 75 or so workshop slots, they had 500 submissions. And so that's just the reality of running an event. Even people who are really good don't necessarily always end up on stage. But as I was sitting there and I noticed, again, all of the attention that our presenter was giving, because he's a good presenter, and that's what an audience is supposed to do, is they're supposed to be engaged and present to what is going on. And as I was sitting there and as I was engaging in it, it wasn't even that I so badly wanted to be him now that I think about it, but I just wanted what he was receiving. So I wasn't jealous of his station. I wasn't jealous of his work. I was simply jealous of the way that everybody else was noticing and listening to him as he was giving his presentation. And I literally was an anonymous face in the crowd. And the interesting thing about jealousy, and I hinted to this at the beginning, is I am so embarrassed by my own jealousy that I see jealousy as weakness. And it's not. All the emotions we feel are not weakness. The emotions we feel are information about our experience. I've talked about this lots before. Anger is the information that we perceive an attack. Frustration is the information of I'm not getting what I want. Sadness is the information of being disconnected from something that is really important. Jealousy is the information about how we see ourselves or about how we perceive other people seeing us. And the reason why, for me, jealousy is so often connected to and in conjunction with embarrassment is because I know intellectually I should be happy with who I am. And that doesn't mean I'm not in process. That's the reason why we do this. That's the reason why I tap every single day. I'm in process, and I know that I'm in process, and that's okay. But by being jealous of someone else, it's an admission that I don't see myself as being good enough. And so the jealousy is an honest emotion. The embarrassment is the shame of the fact that I'm in a circumstance that my system thinks I need to feel that emotion. And so for the 4 weeks that came after the conference, every single weekday on my to-do list is automated, so it just automatically populates. There was a little note that said, tap on your professional jealousy, because it's real. And I say it's real because it's still something that is in process, and I'm still something I'm working on. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to do a little tapping around that idea of being jealous of someone else and someone else's success. For me, that lens is going through a professional jealousy, but jealousy is jealousy is jealousy. So wherever you are bumping into some of that jealousy, this particular audio, I think, is going to be really helpful for you. As always, I'm going to include a written out version of this on the website at tappingqandapodcast.com. Just click on the link for episode 328 so you can print that out if you find a printed version useful in addition to the audio that we're just about to do. So do this for me. Tap on the side of the hand. Just take a nice big deep breath. And take another nice big deep breath. And as you're still tapping on the side of the hand, one more big deep breath. And now just move from tapping point to tapping point, repeating after me. I recognize the fact that I'm capable of jealousy. That I'm able to be consumed by that sense of jealousy. That when I see someone have something that I want, there's a part of me that thinks it is not fair. That they get to have what they want and I don't. That they are getting something that I feel like I deserve and I am not. And this sense of jealousy comes from a place of wanting more for myself. It comes from a place of wanting better. And the jealousy has very little to do with who I am jealous of. And it has everything to do with how I see myself, about how I understand my own experience, about how I believe people notice or don't notice me. I give myself permission to know, even though jealousy is an emotion I don't want to feel, it is just a part of me that is fighting for what it wants for me. It just happens to be showing up in a way that isn't very useful. It happens to be showing up in a way that isn't very helpful. And it gets worse because on top of the jealousy, I also experience embarrassment. I am embarrassed because I am feeling jealous. I see jealousy as a sign of weakness. I see jealousy as a sign of pettiness. I see jealousy a sign of me not knowing who I truly am or what I'm truly worth. As much as I hate feeling jealous, I don't have to be embarrassed by that jealousy. The jealousy is just information about me. It is information about my experience. It is information about how I still need to work on my own esteem. It is information about my own understanding of my self-worth. As much as I hate feeling that jealousy, I give myself permission to be easy with myself. I thank my experience for pointing out the places that I need to grow. The embarrassments can be released because I can appreciate the information that is coming from the jealousy. And the jealousy can be released because I now know what I need to work on. As much as I hate feeling jealousy, I can appreciate the fact that a part of me wants better for me, that a part wants fairness for me, and wants justice for me. Nice deep breath. I've found tapping on something like that, one of two things typically happens. Either one, the jealousy subsides, it becomes really more comfortable, or two, as I rethink through that, the jealousy and the embarrassment grows again because I'm really focused on what's going on, which is fine. Because there are three basic outcomes to a round of tapping. We can feel better, which is great, means we're heading on the right path. We can feel worse, which is not good that we're feeling worse, but it means that we're heading in the right direction because we're getting more focused in, or there's no change at all, which means we need to change direction. So it's all feedback. And so even when the emotion spikes as I'm tuning into this, As painful as that is, it's good news because I have a tool in front of me that helps me to continue to uncouple it and unwrap it. And when an experience like this happens, and even with me tapping on it daily, it keeps popping its head back up, that's a perfect sign that I need to be doing work in a more comprehensive way, not just a little daily tapping, but it then becomes an issue that I bring with me to the tapping practitioner that I work with as I continue to heal and transform. So I hope you found that tap along useful. Again, there is a written out script on the website. If you have downloaded the Tapping Q&A app, in addition to getting these audios, I also have a text version of all of the tapping scripts from the podcast. So each week, instead of just getting the podcast, you get the podcast and the script, which a lot of people find really helpful because they don't always have a chance to listen to the audio or just really appreciate a written version of the script. So you have that wherever you have your smartphone device. If you go to Tapping Podcast, we've renamed it, tappingpodcast.com, it makes it really, really simple for you to get the app or to subscribe to the podcast however you want. Also, if there is someone in your life who you think could use tapping like this, please be our ambassador, pass it along. Don't spam your inbox and send it to everybody in the world. But there might be someone out there who really needs to hear this message today. And the only way they're going to find it is if you take 30 seconds and just shoot them an email and say, hey, here's a great resource that I love. You might like it as well. If you have a question or comment, I can always be reached, Gene, Gene, at tappingqa.com. If you're on the website, just click on the contact link. If you're in the app, click in the contact section. Make sure you go to tappingpodcast.com so you can see how you can get every episode again, absolutely free. Android devices, Apple devices, your Alexa, wherever you want to find it. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Monterastelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Monterastelli, Tapping Q&A 2016. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Monterastelli or Tapping Q&A.